I accused my boss of stealing my identity and opening credit cards, but he denied it and wrote me up. He was livid when I disputed everything and put his company on hold for fraud. I work for a relatively small business. There are only about 50 of us, and I've been working here for about 3 years. The owner of the business I know has been stressed out over the financials for the last 6 months. We've gone from fairly profitable to slightly unprofitable since December. Since I've worked here, I can think of 1-2 month span of time that the business hasn't been profitable, but even then, we were only down a couple $1,000s total on that second month. In January, we had our worst month since I've worked here, and it only improved slightly in February. The credit cards on my credit report were opened in February and looked to have been maxed out by March. Fast forward to last week, and my boss, the company owner, is out of the office for a day, and a coworker grabbed the mail. It had a Discover bill with my name on it. She gave it to me, and I was extremely confused. It was my name but the company's address with a suite designated solely for the boss. Open it up, and I found out I owed more than $10,000 and my payment was 2 months late. I called Discover, and they emailed me a description of the charges. About a dozen of them all have the heading of my company. It was clear someone ordered a card in my name and literally paid my company about $10,000 from it back in early March. Of course, I was livid and immediately disputed all of the charges. I checked my credit report, and another card seemed to have been opened about the same time with more than a $5,000 balance. I called that bank, and they sent me the transaction list, which was the same thing. At this point, I was pretty sure it was my boss as I knew he had access to my social security number from my hiring paperwork, and the address on both cards was his suite in the building. As I'm talking with my work group about it, someone else said their identity was stolen in January, but they got it taken care of through TransUnion. They said the charges went to a supplier of ours. Turns out, a third employee in our work group of 5 had their credit stolen at the start of the year when they checked their credit after hearing us talk about it. They are having that credit card company send them a statement as they couldn't email them the information. Last Wednesday, I confronted my boss about the credit cards, and he denied everything. He said whoever it was probably just used the work address because they may have found it through my LinkedIn. He also said to wait 120 days before disputing anything, which I found extremely weird, but the credit card companies would take care of everything. I decided not to take his advice and disputed everything on the credit websites that day. Monday came along, and he called me to ask if there was anything new on my credit since the other 2 also talked to him about their issues. I told him I disputed everything, and he got pretty pissed. He was enraged that I disputed it so soon and said something that caught my attention. So it was you who caused the holds. I later discovered the company's credit card merchant account is now on hold for fraud. This morning, I got called in again and was given a written reprimand for unsatisfactory performance due to my lower sales numbers for last month. I've never gotten a written reprimand ever at this job, and a separate one for unsatisfactory performance for a recurring customer canceling their subscription because they went out of business. Update: 4 other employees also had their identity stolen similarly. We've all gone to the police, and last Monday, a detective showed up at the office. He only ended up staying about 10 minutes. On Tuesday, someone else, who we think was an attorney, spent the entire day in the boss's suite. On Friday, I was terminated, and at least a dozen other people were laid off, including the others I know had their identity stolen. It will take about a month to just chill before trying to find something else. I feel I owe it to myself after the last 6 weeks at work. One of the accounts is now off my credit, and I expect the other one to come off any day. It sounds like they started coming off my coworkers' accounts as well. I'm unsure what will happen from here, but I hope my old boss understands what's coming to him. I'll start working on my resume next week and file for unemployment, even though I know he will fight it. I'll keep checking out my credit daily as well to know for sure the other card is going to fall off.